Welcome to Outsmarting Uncertainty with Mark Valenziano. These short episodes is where we will start turning some of life's chaos and anxiety into calm progress and success. Let's face it, uncertainty can lead to stress, worry, and doubt. It can lead to feelings of inadequacy and insecurity. And if it goes unchecked and gets overwhelming, uncertainty can make people feel like their life is stagnant and going nowhere. But it does not have to be that way. There is a way to look at uncertainty from a different angle, get empowered by it, and turn it to your advantage. And that's what this place is all about, outsmarting uncertainty. Personally or professionally, we all face challenges, changes, and adversity. Even challenges brought on by ourselves in pursuit of personal goals can be difficult. But the tools and ideas you'll get right here will help you successfully navigate life's bumpy roads and create your best life ever. So, let's get to it. Welcome back, and thank you. Last time we were together, I talked about using your imagination and seeing yourself differently to help you successfully navigate challenging situations and to achieve your dreams and your goals. I also talked about starting with the end in mind and then determining the steps that you need to take to get yourself there. Maybe you are going through a really difficult and challenging time. Maybe you're going through some of life's normal transitions like a job change or having a child or retiring. Maybe you're training for a marathon or launching a business or figuring out how to take your career or sales numbers to new heights. In a way, they are all the same. Start with the end in mind and then figure out the steps you need to take to get yourself there. Create your roadmap of actionable steps with your destination clearly in mind. Now, don't get me wrong. This can be a lot harder than it sounds, especially if you are at a crossroad in life and don't really know what it is that you want to do next. And sometimes along this journey, we even need to learn how to get the heck out of our own way. You see, we are dynamic beings with personality, an ego, and varied frames of reference and upbringing. And inside each of us, we have these internal obstacles that can block us from achieving our dreams and goals. They can prevent us from building the relationships that we need or we desire. And they can even just stop us from being the person that we want to be. Common obstacles include things like apathy, arrogance, defensiveness, greed, insecurity, and even just good old stubbornness. We all have these and other obstacles inside of us, and they can rear their ugly head at any given time and stop us from achieving our goals and our dreams and prevent us from building the relationships that we need or want. Now, I've talked about seeing ourselves differently. Well, you can see yourself differently. Use your inner movie to look down on a situation that maybe didn't go quite as well as you had hoped and identify the obstacle that got in your way. And then you can see yourself differently to remove that obstacle and replace it with something more positive. And here is how I did exactly that. For me, it was insecurity. It was when I bought my first white cane. I bought it with the greatest of intentions in mind, but when it arrived, I immediately shoved it to the back of my closet, not to be seen for a long, long time. You see, I was afraid. I was afraid of the stigma. I was scared about what people were going to think and say about me. And I was terrified that this meant my eyesight was disappearing rapidly, which it was. And then it happened. I was in my local hardware store, and with item in hand, I was making my way up to the cashier, and I was walking at a pretty confident clip. I never saw her. I crashed squarely into a young lady, and I pushed her backwards, causing her to fall into the corner of a metal shelving display unit. I could not see her face, but I could sure hear the anger and the shock in her voice. Was this the person that I wanted to be just because I was afraid of carrying a piece of fiberglass? Absolutely not. Something needed to change. A short time later, I was at home, And I was sitting in my most favorite chair, and I closed my eyes, and I rolled my inner movie, and I looked down at that scene in that hardware store, and I cringed when I saw that guy crashing into that woman and knocking her backwards into that shelving unit. I was humiliated. And then I started to see myself differently. I started to picture myself with my cane in hand and being comfortable with it in my hands. Because you see, that accident in that hardware store would never have happened had I been carrying my cane. I used my inner movie to visualize myself walking confidently up and down the sidewalks and in my local stores using the cane. I anticipated the comments and the questions that I would get from my friends and neighbors because although I knew a ton of people in my neighborhood, only a very select few knew that I was actually going blind. And with that new, more positive picture of myself in mind, I picked up my cane and I walked my neighborhood and I interacted with neighbors and strangers alike. I went into my local shops that I'd been going into for years. I was so pleasantly surprised by humanity. I was so happy with the way that afternoon went for me. You see, by changing my behavior and just seeing myself differently, I so greatly enhanced my happiness. By seeing myself differently, I removed the obstacle of insecurity and I replaced it with confidence. Can you think about a situation in your life that maybe didn't go as well as you had hoped? And when you contemplate it, can you maybe spot an internal obstacle of yours that possibly played a contributing role? Give that some thought. No matter what you are facing, no matter what goal you are pursuing, envision that end that is going to make you the most happy. Determine the actionable steps that you need to take to get yourself there. Focus on what you can control. Identify and then remove the internal obstacle. And then just go for it. Having the ability to thrive through all sorts of changes and uncertainties is integral in helping you stay grounded, confident, and happy. And hey, please never forget that happiness is the strongest foundation on which you can build your success. Happiness and success are personal. Reflection is personal. Please make these short episodes personal by reflecting on the uncertainties and challenges and changes you might currently be facing in your life. And then come on back to hear the next episode of Outsmarting Uncertainty. These little bursts of information and ideas will help you stand strong and confident as you create your future. Okay, everyone. I think that's it for now. My name is Mark Valenziano, and I want to thank you for listening to Outsmarting Uncertainty. If you enjoyed what you heard, please make sure you subscribe to this show wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks.